I'm Taysom Hill, and you're watching BYuTV Sports.
Ready to start the fourth quarter. Utah State leading BYU 35-17. Spectacular night at LaVell Edwards Stadium as far as the fall beauty goes. Not a happy night for the home team. Lauren Frankham down on the sideline.
Riley, in 2011 you went through a very similar situation as Christian Stewart, high pressure and against Utah State. What advice do you have for him right now?
He needs to just continue to concentrate on executing plays, getting first downs. And we're at the point now you have to score, whether it's a field goal or touchdown, every drive. And to be honest, at this point, 3 scores down, we need probably a stop and a turnover from the defense.
What's going through Christian Stewart's mind right now?
Hopefully not much. Hopefully it's, just getting the play call in and executing the play call. Hopefully, he doesn't make the moment bigger than it is, because if you do that and your head kind of spins out of control, well, then you're no good to your team. So hopefully there's not much, and he's just focused on the goal at hand, and that's scoring the next time the offense gets the ball.
You went out with a few injuries during your career. What's Taysom Hill going through right now?
I was lucky enough that all my injuries, I had a fighting chance coming back, and we don't know the details, obviously, but whenever it's an air cast and you're on the card, it's never good. So I can't really speak to what he's going through other than to just wish him the best, tell him we love him, Cougar Nation loves him, and to battle through it.
Thanks, Riley. Thanks for being with us.
Riley Nelson. Here's Christian Stewart. Field goal try. This will be a 44-yard attempt. And it's no good. So the Cougars dodge a bullet. Blaine, talk about Riley Nelson. He came in, and Jake Heaps had struggled against Utah State, and Nelson sparked the team, had some miraculous plays down the stretch. And then, of course, on that big drive to beat Utah State here in the closing seconds. And the other Matthews, Marcus Matthews, right there for the touchdown. And that was the game winner, 27-24. Christian Stewart's got a lot more work to do than Riley had, but I think the former quarterback nailed it on the head. They need touchdowns and turnovers to try to get back in this. After the missed field goal, we're back to pass. Lobs it deep downfield. Flag comes down, the intended receiver Matthews, and that'll be pass interference, and the Cougars will get some help.
Matthews had a step that time, and we flash back to Kersley down on the ground and shaken up. Matthews had a step, and that was a well-thrown ball. That was in a good spot. That was going to be a complete, so the pass interference.
Pass interference, number 6 of the defense. Penalty is 15 yards from the previous spot. First down.
Rashad Stewart with the penalty as Kersley remains down at the 17.
And pass interference in college, it's a 15-yard penalty. You go back to the line of scrimmage. And so sometimes pass interference is not a bad deal. Sometimes you'd rather have an interference penalty than a 30 or 40-yard throw downfield or a touchdown.
Kersley, a sophomore out of Aloha, Oregon. He just worked himself out of an injury, and now he's down with another one. Big crowd on hand tonight. Still hopeful that something can happen here in this fourth quarter. BYU Sports Nation each day at high noon Eastern Time. Spencer Linton, Jerem Jordan. Listen to the show on the BYURadio.org, the BYU Radio iOS app, Sirius XM Channel 143, Dish Network 980, and you can watch it on BYU TV. First down from the 42-yard line after the penalty and the injury to Kersley. The quarterback sneak goes very little for Christian Stewart. Ball at the 45. It'll be second down and 7. Well, they'll spot at 44 and make it second and 8. Time and points. The two keys for BYU. And now it is Stewart on a keeper. And he dives close to the marker into Aggie territory. Nick Vigil with another tackle. This will be third down and a yard. BYU down 35-17. Now it's Lasika. picks up the first down with a 45. 3 straight runs coming out of the injury.
The beauty for BYU is that at this point in the game, you're this far behind, you kind of want to run a hurry-up offense. Well, that's what they do anyhow.
Right.
So they're just running their normal offense. They speed it up a hair, but they go fast all the time, and that fits in from trying to come from behind. You got to hustle.
Aggies bring pressure, and they're waiting for Lasike. 4 straight running plays for BYU as time continues to tick. LT Filiunga, another tackle for Utah State. 2nd down and 9. Haven't seen Jamal Williams for a while. Stewart winds up deep for Leslie. Just too far. It'll be 3rd down and 9. And Leslie with a step on the defense.
Boy, this just misses. And these are the throws that we've seen Garrettson make, and that is just out of the reach for Leslie. Garrettson hasn't missed on one of those throws. And those throws, not easy to make. You don't hit a high percentage of vertical throws. Garrettson hasn't missed one.
Blitz comes on 3rd down and 9. Incomplete. Flag comes down. Out comes another one. Ross Oppo, the intended receiver. That's going to be a break for BYU because they were looking at 4th and 9 without help from the penalty.
And flags came from both the side judge and the
Pass
line
interference. Defense number 13. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. 1st down.
Yeah, and the flag came from both sides on this one. You see the pressure at Stewart trying to throw the comeback. And where you're going to get the flag is when you have that good play with the left hand, but the right arm wrapped around the receiver, Ross Oppo. And that's why the official from the backside throws that flag.
Utah State calls a timeout.
Called by Utah State.
13:15 to go in the 4th. 35-17 Aggies. There's the old wagon wheel. They've been playing for that since 1948. And if the Aggies can hang on here in the 4th quarter, they'll be taking that back to Logan with them. Christian Stewart and the Cougars have a 1st down at the 32. Trying to make some noise. Pressure comes. Stewart moves out of the pocket, throws downfield and over the head of the intended receiver, and that's Colby Pearson. Nice arm for Christian Stewart. He's not been able to dial in on his deep passes. Pearson, what the play is, as Cougars get in formation. Blackman slow to get off the field. 2nd down and 10. BYU, I don't think got set. Whistle comes right on the snap. Flag at the line of scrimmage. The line judge and the referee sizing things up. Maybe somebody had too many accountant guys out there. Let's see.
Foul for illegal formation. 2nd down.
Okay, maybe Blackman just didn't get off the field fast enough.
Well, they said there's no foul for illegal formation, and so the guy on this side didn't recognize what was going on the other side. So the head linesman talked to the line judge and said, "No, there were 2 guys over here. It was fine."
2nd down and 10. Adam Hine with a 4-yard reception. He's gone out of the field to Lauren.
Dallin Levitt has not come back from the locker room yet, and I was just told that Braden Kersley has injured his left ankle, and they are currently carting him off. Dave.
Boy, it has been a rough night for the Cougars. 3rd down and 6. Stewart. Intercepted again. Through Matthews. And the Aggies have it at the 27. And here comes a late flag. Stewart came close to crossing the line of scrimmage and then spotted Matthews, and it sailed on him, and another turnover for BYU.
And he had Matthews open that time. Matthews had settled down in that zone and was there. But Stewart was like attacking the line of scrimmage, moving forward, and the ball took off on him.
Personal foul, number 91 intercepting team for hitting a player that is out of the play. The penalty's half the distance to the goal. 1st down.
So the interception stands. The penalty will back it up a little bit. But the Aggies take over possession on another BYU turnover.
Post-possession foul on that one, where that hit was after Utah State had possession.
Matthews wide open.
Stewart got tripped up at the end, and then that ball took off, and he was trying to get the ball into Matthews. Had found a nice soft spot for a first down in that zone. 4 turnovers now for BYU. And that's how good teams get beat. They turn it over.
Ball on the 14. And Hill. This has been a bad night for the BYU defense. Right from the start, they failed to make adjustments. The sophomore quarterback has lit them up for 321 yards passing.
And over 400 yards of total offense in this game.
Who would have thought the Aggies were averaging 24 points a game coming in?
And that's the magic number as you look at Darryl Garrett's numbers there. That's a magic number right there. 19 and 23 is a magic number. But the magic number for BYU historically has been if they can keep the team 24 or less, they're going to win. And they get up above 24, then their chances are significantly reduced.
Vigil to the 20. It'll be third down and short. And with a loss like this, and your quarterback with a broken leg, they will tumble out of the top 25. And now all bets are off for the games ahead, including Central Florida on Thursday night. Some of the fans are heading home. On the other side, this has been a dominating performance by Utah State.
And this is a Utah State team. When you look at their schedule now, they have a chance to do what they did last year. They have a chance to run through the Mountain West Conference and get on a roll. They don't play Boise State till the very end of the season. This is a team that could get on a roll and win that conference.
Punting situation coming up. Noah Pikula wraps up Joe Hill. And the special teams will return. Utah State get ready for Mountain West play. They'll host Air Force a week from tomorrow. Over to Colorado State, and then UNLV comes in. BYU, Central Florida, and Nevada, which may be playing the best football of any Mountain West team right now. Boise State.
I think Nevada's probably the surprise team in that conference.
Blackman looking for somebody. Sees a lot of white shirts and then gets nudged out of bounds. And BYU will have it at the 41-yard line, maybe the 42. No blocking there for Blackman. 40-yard punt, a 1-yard return. Christian Stewart in the offense coming back. Our fan photo is brought to you by the BYU store. And this photo sent to us from Illinois. Chad Dornan and family, part of Cougar Nation. Fan photo brought to you by the BYU store, your home for authentic BYU products. This crowd has been stunned since the second quarter when the Aggies outscored BYU 21-7. And they watched Taysom Hill carted off with a broken leg. And that, on crutches there, is Dallin Levitt. He's got his ankle taped up. Braden Kersley was carted off to the locker room. Michael Olisa is there. He suffered a concussion early on. And it has just not been BYU's night. Christian Stewart has thrown 3 interceptions. And all that said, there's still 10 minutes and 12 seconds to go, and BYU's got the ball. They need 3 touchdowns, or 2 touchdowns and some creativity, and a field goal. But there's still time.
A touchdown and an extra point, a touchdown and 2-point conversion and a field goal ties it up. So there's all kinds of possibilities.
Incomplete, intended for Leslie. Now, Blaine, one thing you didn't experience when you came in when Robbie Bosco was hurt is well, you had success, and here's a quarterback that's come in with the pressure, and it must be really tightening up. He's thrown 3 picks. It's down 35-17, and here he lobs a deep ball. Nice throw. Matthews, did he get a foot down? 28 yards. They say yes, he does. They're 30. Maybe it's a pick-me-up for the quarterback.
That'll change your attitude in a hurry. And he throws this one, and it's like a back shoulder thrower. And let's see if he gets it. Wow.
What a catch.
Wow, he gets that left foot down. That was a big-time play by Matthews.
Catch of the night so far for BYU. Now Stewart to the end zone for Leslie. And too strong. It'll be second down and 10. Matthews' numbers up now to 91 yards on 7 catches and a touchdown. Leslie 3 for 94.
Daniel Gray doing a good job that time. He got really physical with Leslie, hand fighting all the way down the field and throwing him off the route.
Another blitz coming. Williams to the 11. And a first down for BYU. Gain of 20 yards for Jamal Williams. Cougars are in a hurry. Zach Vigil on the tackle. Strong running straight ahead for Jamal Williams. Matthews top of the screen. Stewart looking at him all the way. Lobs for him. Can't bring it in with one hand, and it's incomplete.
Jalen Davis, the freshman, doing a good job out there of playing tough and physical. Davis at 5'9" and 160, just a freshman out there on Mitch Matthews at 6'6".
It seems like Matthews should win that.
It should be a mismatch, right?
99 yards for Williams. Stewart again. Checks off of Matthews. Throws too high for Houts. Balls are sailing on him now. From a quarterback perspective, what's he doing wrong?
Usually if the ball's taken off, it's because you're overstriding just a little bit. But and for him, it would be nice to get him back, to get him in a rhythm, to have some routes that are coming back at him. Some curl routes and things like that where he can get over that front foot and throw it down.
This one's complete, but well short of where they need to be. Houck at the 6. On 4th down, they're going to send the field goal unit in. Crowd's not going to like this.
You got to add up points.
Make it 2 possession.
You start adding it up, and you go, okay, you need a field goal, a touchdown, and an extra point, and a touchdown 2-point conversion. What's your best opportunity? High percentage to kick a field goal here, or get a touchdown on 4th and 6? And Bronco Mendenhall says, hey, I'll play the percentages, get the points, and put it on my defense and get the ball back again.
Sampson gets the points. 8:39 to go, 35-20. At some point, the crowd will start to figure the math out and go, okay.
Yeah, now they're all going, oh, yeah, 15, they can give 2-point conversion. Okay, that made sense, yeah.
We'll see what happens. 8:39 to go. Our scoring summary presented by Deseret First Credit Union. Deseret First Credit Union shares your values. Proud sponsor of BYU Athletics. 8 plays, 52 yards. Took about 93 seconds and a field goal to make it a 15-point game. Dave McCann, Blaine Fowler, stunning developments here tonight with Taysom in his broken leg. And as you look at the next 8 minutes or so, and then Central Florida and an aggressive defense on the road in Orlando, and suddenly everything changes.
And Central Florida's a team. BYU has been suspect to the deep ball tonight. Central Florida's a team that can get the ball deep. They've got a couple of receivers that are NFL caliber guys on the outside there, and so BYU's going to have to get better with what they're doing defensively. They certainly did not play a great game in the secondary in this one.
Too early for an onside kick here, or you go deep? 8:39 to go.
Utah State anticipating it with 10 guys within 15 yards of that football.
8:39 to go. BYU needs 2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion. Is it possible? Yes. They'll kick it short and let it bounce around. It's loose. The Cougars say they've got it, and they do. At the 24-yard line. And things just got interesting. What a kick by Mickelson. Just kind of like they took a sand wedge and chipped it over the front line.
But just perfectly executed. Instead of the onside kick, it was a little lob, just a little lob wedge over the top. Couldn't have done it better. But for Utah State, you got to sit back and field that thing and not come running up and try to catch it.
Something's going on. Something's going on the field. They may have to re-kick this. Was BYU offsides? There's a flag way back on the 38-yard line. I think BYU was offsides. Oh, what a tough time for a bad penalty. So they're going to do it all over again.
You talk about 5-yard penalties that kill you. Remember, they had an offside penalty on defense when Utah State was attempting a long field goal, and Utah State turned that penalty into another set of downs and a touchdown. And here BYU creates a great opportunity, and the offside penalty.
Taken right back. Discipline on special teams. You know you can't run past the line before the kicker kicks the ball. They've had a few of those offsides this season. Everyone's eager to get down there and do something, but so the turnover is taken back, and now they'll try it again. And this time Utah State may play this a little smarter. BYU has all 3 of their timeouts left. They may just go deep now on this one. Nicholson approaches the ball. They'll try it again. Pitch it up there. This time Utah State's there at the 35. So an offsides penalty cost BYU a possession. And it's gone that kind of way tonight. And here's another flag.
Offside, number 28 of the kicking team. That 5-yard penalty will be added to where the kick was caught. First down.
So back-to-back offsides penalties. Let's go back to the original one that cost BYU the opportunity to get the football. And so you can't be past that line. And you see it right there. BYU definitely past the line of scrimmage or past the line of the football there before the ball is kicked.
So after all of that, it's Utah State ball at the 40. That ball's incomplete. Intended for Manson. Who would have thought on Jim McMahon night that the Cougars would need another miracle?
Now, the problem with Utah State in that play, they throw a route that they think is 100% chance to get caught, at least. Maybe not get big yardage, be caught, and keep the clock moving. Instead, it's an incomplete, and the clock stopped. That's like a timeout for BYU. 8:32 left, and the clock is stopped.
Garrettson up under center now with Hill in the backfield. They're going to throw it again. Still too much time. Incomplete, a bad ball. We haven't seen many bad balls from Garrettson. Why are the Aggies throwing the football?
I don't understand this right now. When you've got a 15-point lead, and you come out and you throw back-to-back throws, you use 5 seconds in 2 downs.
When you could have used 30, 40, 50 seconds. You could have used 60 seconds.
A whole minute to a minute and a half.
3rd down and 10 with the clock stopped. Garrettson looks over to the bench. He's had a near perfect night. Now they'll run it on 3rd and 10. And Hill gets taken out of bounds.
Wow.
And that'll stop the clock. Utah State ran 3 plays in about 9 seconds.
There's clock management when you have the football and you're trying to get the ball down the field quickly, and there's clock management. You have your 2-minute slow down offense, and that was poor clock management that time by the Aggies. Literally a 9-second series. And you know what? Now the officials wound the clock, which makes no sense to me. They say his progress was stopped in bounds.
Blackman is deep. Cougars need something. And he's down at the 26. 8 minutes to go. BYU down 2 touchdowns, an extra point, and a 2-point conversion. Which means they've got it. What they have to do here is they have to get a touchdown on this drive.
And no more field goals.
Can't be messing around.
No more field goal opportunities left. Everything's 4-down territory now.
Stewart's numbers: 7 of 20, 98 yards, and 3 interceptions.
And still 3 timeouts left for BYU, just 1 for the Aggies.
BYU can't get out of their own way. When Taysom went out, the wheels came off offensively.
56 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Yeah, but Taysom Hill didn't score 35 for Utah State, and
the wheels were never on the defense.
Yeah, the wheels weren't on the defense.
On the offense, the wheels went off, and outside of that first drive, it wasn't like even Taysom was lighting Utah State up. Stewart rolls out. He's got a man if he sees him. Leslie, and he's out of bounds. Now, Christian Stewart's had plenty of time to throw the football as well, and just hasn't been on target. Let's take another look and see if Leslie got a foot down.
And when you're moving to your right, you almost have to throw the ball back inside because the ball's going to drift. And let's take a look.
So close.
That toe looks like it's on the line, on that white line.
Second down and 15. The crowd reaction, they just saw it, they thought he got a foot in, but he didn't. Now Stewart downfield. Leslie underthrew him, incomplete.
Well, that's a ball that should have been caught. That's one that looked like Leslie had his hands on the football and should have come up with it. And he's as sure-handed a guy as BYU has. Yeah, that's in there, and that's a ball that 9 out of 10 times Jordan Leslie brings in.
We've seen him make tougher catches than that for sure. Now it's 3rd and 15. Stewart over the middle, throws behind Juergens. And incomplete now on 4th and 15. With 7:38 to go, BYU's going to send the punting unit in. This was a bad race for the offense.
And coming off late, you got to reset your feet. That one thrown back inside, coming off late, trying to get it out in front of Juergens. Good coverage that time by the Aggies. BYU running a crossing route, but the Aggies were in zone.
JoJo Nansen is back. He's been quiet for a little while after that explosive seconder. Arlano and Nansen at the 42. 7:32 to go. BYU still with the 3 timeouts. Just a 37-yard kick, not Arlano's best.
And you can bet that the Aggies aren't going to do what they did on the last drive. They're not going to help BYU along in terms of the clock by throwing it 3 times in the first 3 downs. And even though they ran the football on 3rd down, so they threw it on 1st and 2nd, and the clock, they still only used about 18 seconds of the clock on that last drive.
Our next broadcast tomorrow, women's volleyball, BYU and Santa Clara. That's a dominant BYU team. Coverage begins at 10 o'clock Eastern time on BYuTV, home of the Cougars. You want to watch good volleyball, watch that. Hill gets around the corner. He's had success getting around that corner. Gain of 12 and a first down. Where has that BYU containment been tonight, Brian?
Well, they've struggled with it. Struggled with it on the outside, and that's a good first down play. Not only does it generate a first down, but a stretch play like that is going to take time even if you don't get big yardage. And right now, the clock rolling, that's the Aggies' friend right now, the clock rolling.
So many stunning turn of events in this football game tonight, most notably Taysom Hill's broken leg. Utah State dominance in throwing the football. And the turnovers by BYU. It's a 4-yard run from Joe Hill. This is the only big in-state rivalry this year. Next year, Utah State will play Utah, and then that series will go away with no future games scheduled. BYU and Utah won't play for a couple more years. And I tell you, when the Cougars came out, they throw that deep ball, Blaine, they get that touchdown, and you would have thought the route was on. And then back came the Aggies, and they turned it right around. BYuTV post-game show coming up. We'll hear from the players. Get Bronco Mendenhall's take on Taysom Hill and where these Cougars go from here. Highlights and stats. An analysis from the guys coming up next on the BYuTV post-game. 2nd down, 6:53 to go. BYU used their time, one of their timeouts. They've got 2 remaining. Vigil back in. Gets close to the marker inside the 40, the 38. Another timeout called. It will be 3rd down and 2. And another BYU Cougar is down. This is Alani Fua. Aggies 2-2, looking to go to 3-2, looking to win in Provo for the first time since 1978. BYU at 4-0, and dreams of maybe improbable dreams, or dreams of that undefeated season, dreams of that glorious Taysom Hill junior year. All that has changed tonight.
And they've got a tough task ahead of them. They've got to go on the road all the way back to the East Coast again, to the Southeast, to Orlando, to play a Central Florida team with all kinds of team speed. And then we mentioned earlier, Nevada's maybe the surprise team of the Mountain West Conference. They're playing much better than anyone expected. And then they got to go up and play on the blue turf, the Smurf turf up at Boise State. These next 3 are going to be a big-time test, especially without Taysom Hill in that lineup. And then
BYU would have been favored in all 3 going in, but without Taysom Hill.
Well, now
sure.
maybe their most athletic player on the defense, the combination of size and speed, Alani Fua, goes out. So we've seen Mike Alisa go out today. Alani Fua, Dallin Levitt, 3 main cogs from that defense.
Braden Kearsley
on the offensive side, and Taysom Hill.
Wow.
So it's been a devastating night in terms of injuries for BYU, and that, we talk about the wheels coming off. That has an impact on how you do things. There's Dallin Levitt with the ankle taped up on crutches. Taysom Hill over at the hospital.
BYU felt pretty good coming in. They were very physical in practice, more so than in years past during their bye week. And they came in completely healthy for the first time all season. Well, for the most part, completely healthy. And then they'll leave this game tonight in the worst shape that they've been in a long, long time.
And Utah State can relate. Remember, they had the first of a string of injuries to Chucky Keaton in this BYU game last year. And then they had an onslaught of injuries as that season progressed. And they turned things around and played great down the stretch.
Vigil, a big first down run. BYU hasn't been able to stop him all night, so it's appropriate that he gets one here. Buys a new set of downs.
And how aware is Vigil? So he goes out there. This isn't a guy that plays a bunch of running back. He gets the first down, breaks the tackle. He gets to the sideline, and he's smart enough to turn back in and sit down inbounds to keep that clock rolling.
He's a football player. Look at him, smiling. He's been smiling when he's knocking around BYU on offense, and he's been smiling, banging into BYU on the defense.
It's kind of a nice, you get hit a couple times as a running back, and then you go, I'm going to go over on the other side and go smack a couple people right now, making myself feel a little bit better.
What a night he is having. He's going to get the ball again. This time he is stopped right there at the line of scrimmage. Might have lost a yard. Zach Stout has been very quiet tonight. It's the first time we've seen his number called. And a timeout taken with 5:33 to go. 15-point lead for the Aggies. So let's go back to that Taysom Hill injury, Blaine. And we're told it was a fracture, broken leg. He's at the hospital.
We don't know if it's a tibia or a fibula down in the lower leg. It was low, which scares you because it's down around the ankle where there's a lot of ligaments and things. So it wasn't up in the middle of his lower leg. So you just don't know. Without them having a good look at or knowing what bones it is and how much ligament involvement there is, you just don't know how long of a rehab process is going to be. A simple fracture without a bunch of soft tissue damage is not as devastating as something that has a lot of soft damage. But you can see him get rolled up, and look how low, right down around that ankle where that thing turns over. And
you see in his eyes there, he knows there's trouble right now.
He knew it was a problem.
Vigil. Tackled by Johnson and others. And that'll bring up third down. BYU's going to use their another timeout. I believe that leaves them with one.
So many ranked teams playing this weekend against one another. We saw Oregon go down.
Yep.
Surprisingly, everybody's talking Oregon about a national championship and an undefeated season, and they lose unexpectedly to Arizona, who now is talking about an undefeated season and a national championship.
I think what we saw here tonight, too, and maybe we started to see it against Virginia, BYU's defense was exposed. And we gave credit to Virginia's receivers and quarterback and their strong offensive line. And in comes a new quarterback, for the most part, a weak offensive line from all accounts as they prepared for this. At least they were concerned about that. A running game that was non-existent.
Yeah, there hadn't been any running game.
And then they've just had their way.
Now, the one difference, Garrettson's not a new quarterback. Garrettson's started 9 games in his career now. And he was new last week starting this season, but this is a guy that started the last 7 games for them last year, and he's very, very capable. So that's not like a backup quarterback coming in. Now he's had 2 weeks of being the man, and he looks great. And he looked great down the stretch last year for Utah State.
Caught behind the line is Hill. And that will bring up 4th down. Stout again on the tackle. Clock continues to move for a loss of 3. I guess you say new quarterback in the sense that earlier in this week they were hoping Chucky would be playing it.
Yeah, and you know what? I think Utah State's better off with Garrettson play. If Chucky's 100% and plays like Chucky Keaton, then he's your guy. He's one of the most dynamic players in the country. But Chucky playing the way he did in the first 2 games where he was obviously still hurt, Garrettson's better. 100% Garrettson is better than a 60% Chucky Keaton all day long. So they're in better shape as the season progresses. They keep 10 healthy now. And then they hope they can get a medical red shirt for Chucky Keaton, and he can come back and beat Chucky Keaton next year.
Play a game against the offense. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Now I think they'll send the punting unit in. Garrettson, 19 of 25, 321, most of that in the first half.
Second quarter, devastating.
3 touchdowns, no turnovers, no interceptions. And Christian Stewart's thrown for 98 yards and 3 interceptions. Taysom, before the injury, was 8 of 11 for 99 and a touchdown. All-around bad night. Juergens calls for a fair catch. So 4:26 to go and still down 2 scores. The offense will come back out. And if you're the secondary for Utah State,
you keep everything in front of you right now. Yeah. It's like, you know what? You want to complete a 10-yard ball? Go ahead. An 8-yard ball, we're going to let you throw things in front of us, and we're going to come up and make the tackle. And we're going to make that clock continue to roll. And if you do score, you're going to get 1 score, and it's going to take you 4 minutes. Nothing over the top is the formula for Utah State right now.
Stewart, blitz comes on, and he goes down. Stewart needs something good to happen to him just because he's got to play on Thursday.
Yeah, they've got it. And so he doesn't even get a full week of prep to be the starter this week because they do have to play on Thursday. And so he needs to have some positive things happen. And I'll tell you, Utah State brings a 4-man rush that time and has somebody come clean. That's just an assignment error on the offensive line. And now it's a 3-man rush.
Winds up, throws, it's Matthews.
And Matthews has been very good for BYU in this game.
Up over 100 yards now for BYU and gets out of bounds with 3:56 to go, a gain of 26.
So, again, a back shoulder throw.
Good looking throw.
And a good concentration by Mitch Matthews coming up with that one.
Now Stewart running for his life, gets out of bounds at the 40. Run for 6. Tololani Fua is being taken off on a cart.
Way too many carts.
Cougar on a cart.
Yeah,
tonight.
way too many cart exits for BYU. That's a bad sign.
2nd down and 4 at the 40. 3:31 to go. Stewart looking downfield. He's got Matthews if he can wind up. Yeah, he's just running for his life. And he gets the 1st down at the 45. Matthews was open downfield, but Stewart was in survival mode.
Yeah, he couldn't get his hips and shoulders squared away to be able to get enough torque on it to throw it that far down the field with guys chasing after him. But he did pick up the 1st down and stops the clock momentarily while they reset the chains.
Well, he takes a long time here catching his breath. Crowd wants him to move a little faster. 4-man rush. Almost picked off. He threw on his back foot. Not a lot of zip to it.
Yeah, way too much pressure coming from those 3- and 4-man pressures. So this is a 4-man pressure again.
But they just blew through that offensive line.
A double team that just gets split immediately.
Under 3 minutes to go. 2nd and 10. Lobbing it deep downfield for Oppo. There was a wrestling match down the sideline, but no flags. And it'll be 3rd down and 10.
So watch the coverage downfield, trying to go over the top. You know, and the ball thrown out of bounds, or the receiver already out of bounds, and Ross Oppo. Just well defended by Davis, the freshman doing a good job.
Torrey Green is being attended to. He's had an active night. Here's the injury list. Remember at the start of the game, we showed a list of all the guys who were healthy and coming back.
Here's
the other list of everyone who's out.
Well, and one of the guys coming back was Braden Kersley.
Yeah.
So he came back and he's back out. And, you know, for BYU, their outside backers, starting outside backers, begin of the season were supposed to be Alani Fua and Bronson Kafusi. Kafusi's been out. Elisa's taken his place. Kafusi comes back, and Elisa gets hurt. Out with a concussion.
Green, a junior out of Riverside. 3rd down and 10, back out on the field. Matthews at the top of the screen. Stewart looking at him all the way. Now checks off. Winds up and throws. Juergens. Well defended and incomplete. And on 4th down and 10, they'll have to go for it. Those are tough completions to make. Like, why are they not calling simpler assignments?
Yeah, this is a tough one. And this is good coverage by Brian Hayes. Just a good position. This is a wrestling match. That's going to be a tough one. Every time.
They haven't done much over the middle at all tonight. 4th down and 10. Stewart on the run. And that's short. Incomplete. No, they're going to give him the catch. The Aggies are going to take over on downs. Robert Anai's fortunes have changed here tonight. The Heisman candidate quarterback who seems to make everything work is out. And now he's back to square one. Now, to their credit, they gave Christian Stewart a whole lot of reps during fall camp.
He got half the reps or more on some practices during fall camp. They knew that in an offense where they ran the quarterback as much as they run Taysom Hill, that they had to have a backup prepared. And now he'll get a full week of prep as the starter. And the offense won't change a lot, but it will change some.
Yeah.
You know, it'll be more pass-oriented and traditional run-oriented, where they give the football to Jamal Williams more. But won't change much.
I think Bronco, we'll hear from him after the game, but you know, those injuries were significant. But as a whole, the defense, this was the worst outing of the season.
Yeah, and the defense, the injuries, Alani Fua goes out here late, and Dallin Levitt went out here in the second half. In the second quarter, they were full.
Yeah.
You know, they were full complement of players, and Utah State just torched this defense in the second quarter.
Aggies just one score here in the second half. But they got more than enough in that dominating second quarter, and it was really the last 4 minutes of the second quarter.
The turnover that BYU had that allowed Utah State to score back-to-back touchdowns in just a matter of a couple of minutes is really where this game turned. Utah State got a big play. BYU comes back and has an opportunity to match, and they fumble the exchange between Jamal Williams and Taysom Hill, and Utah State immediately takes advantage, and that's when all the momentum switched, and BYU's never had a chance to gain any back since that point in the game.
They scored at 4:40, then they scored again at 4:27, and then at 55 seconds remaining. And a devastating sequence for the defense, and in there, Taysom Hill broke his leg, and that's how the half ended. And the second half The Cougars have not been able to find any offense. Christian Stewart just 9 of 28, 131 yards and 3 interceptions. So he too has to head to practice on Monday, looking for his game and opportunity. But boy, what a spotlight on Daryl Garrettson. What a big performance and a big victory. The Aggies had lost back-to-back games just one time in the last 37 games, and that is not going to happen tonight. They lose to Arkansas State on the road, and then they come to BYU and beat BYU in Provo for the first time since 1978.
Well, we've heard and watched how ineffective this offense was. Well, that wasn't the case tonight. Daryl Garrettson made the difference. He was on fire and hitting everything. Perfect throws. Every deep ball just on the money for that young man tonight.
And BYU could not get to him. And for the second and third game, they have not been able to get to the quarterback. And as often as they blitz, and they blitz every down, they've got to figure that out. And there's Chucky Keaton and Garrettson sharing an embrace, and the Aggie faithful that are here are going to remember this one for a long, long time. BYU went up to Logan and put the hurt on Utah State last year, and the Aggies have come to Provo and returned the favor.
Now, Chucky Keaton's had some amazing games, but I don't know if he's had a game where his passer rating was 223.5. That's what Garrettson is right now. That's ridiculous. He had a point in this game where he had 16 straight completions. Just in a zone that you rarely see in a quarterback. At some point, you're going to make a bad throw. No, he didn't make a bad throw. Right. 16 straight completions at one point.
Gatorade dumped on Matt Wells, and what a big win for the second-year head coach. Said, hey, we haven't had any luck in Provo. And he's right. They've lost 17 straight games here. And tonight they have come in and rewritten history. And they'll leave with that old wagon wheel. Flags down, which seems appropriate. Stewart winds up and throws complete to Leslie. Leslie trying to make something happen, dodging everybody down at the 39. Time expires, but the flag is back on the 19-yard line. The game can't end on a penalty on the defense. It can on the offense.
Illegal chop block, number 56 of the offense. Penalties decline, game over.
That's it. First time since 1978, Utah State has defeated BYU in Provo 35-20. Here's the Dexter play of the game. Dexter Law is as passionate about shouldering people's burdens as it is about BYU. Dexter and Dexter helps when they need it most. DexterLaw.com. Taysom Hill, while he was still in, hooking up with Matthews for a touchdown. That tied the game up at 14.
And just it
was all Utah State after that.
A little hitch and go route. Mitch Matthews, one of the few bright spots for BYU in this ball game. He had a tremendous game. Made a number of big catches in the game, but just not enough out of the defense, and turnovers always tell the story, and BYU just could not take care of the football in this one.
There's the man of the hour. Although, got to give more props to Vigil as they
sure
right off with the old wagon wheel right there. They're not wasting any time.
Sophomore Nick Vigil out of Fremont High School. What a tremendous game, playing both ways in this game. Gave this Aggie football team a real boost in the run game and converted some critical third and shorts, and then played a tremendous game on defense. He may be the MVP just for his versatility, but Garrettson was incredible at quarterback.
Boy, he gave him some toughness, didn't he? To see this game again, go to byutv.org. The post-game show with Spencer Linton, Brian Logan, David Nixon coming up next. We have from Bronco Mendenhall and the players. Blaine Fowler, Andy Boyce, Lauren Frankham, and our entire BYU TV crew. I'm Dave McCann. We'll see you for the postgame show coming up next here on BYU TV. Your home of the Cougars, 35-20. Utah State is the winner tonight.